Hello everyone, welcome again to another 360 Timmy. Today we're in Folkestone, Kent, a fantastic summer's evening, and I'm joined by Abi Orfila.
Yay!
Abi is a singer,
Yay!
and she also works in the passport office, so quite a unique story, which we're going to get to the bottom of.
Yeah,
But you sing in a very strange place, don't you?
I do. Yeah, so Eurotunnel is where Le Shuttle now, as
Yeah,
they rebranded. So I do the passport exit checks for the Home Office, but I also sing in the terminal building for the passengers, as one of the entertainment singers, part of the crew. So that's where I'm based at the moment. That's my second home. Um, and yeah, I've just finished the summer, and I'll be back in October. So.
so that's the kind of headline. Where did it all start then? Where did singing start for you?
Well, really, really young. Like gosh, I was involved in a lot of like amateur local productions. So my first audition was for Annie for FODS, and I was about 5 years old. So back in 2000 was my first audition
And FODS is
for
a local
anything.
amateur dramatics here in
That's
Folkestone.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I started, and I kind of got into it like that, and then started to go into piano lessons when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I kind of grew from that. And then I started taking like music GCSEs. I did like a lot of school amateur productions as well, which I absolutely loved. And I kind of fell in love with like music theatre first, and that's kind of where my journey started.
So what was
Um,
what was your school?
so I went to St Edmunds in Dover,
Yep.
and it was a performing arts school. And then I went to the Folkestone Academy for my A levels, and I also went to my primary school with Stella Maris. So yeah, that's where my schools were. But I also did like other amateur production arts, which was like Blackfish Arts Academy outside of school, and that's where my training kind of came from that. And yeah, so I've been around.
And so
But yeah.
your style is country rock.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
I kind of went through a really long journey with torn between musical theatre and country rock. And I was in a band with my older brother and my older sister, and we kind of grew into like a folky country pop group. And then by the time our second album and our EP came about, we were like, let's try country rock. And then we decided not to continue the band anymore. And so I thought I would continue the legacy, I guess.
Go solo. So you're like all these
Not the
great
legacy,
groups,
but
like yeah, Robbie Williams, even
yeah,
take
yeah.
that.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah,
I suppose, yeah,
yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Um, we'll see. Yeah, so I just thought I would. I'm the youngest, so I guess it's just a bit more for me to try, I guess. And so yeah, I thought I'd stick with the country rock style, like like a bit more Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert. Got Dolly, obviously, and Shania Twain, and I'm actually going to see Shania Twain next month, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, so that's kind of the roots of where I've started and how I'm ending up. And who knows? I'm just trying to take every opportunity as I can, whatever comes to me. Um, then yeah, I'll take it.
Because I mean, you're obviously on all the music streaming platforms as well. So
Yeah.
we'll put the links in for all that.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because
Thank
you've
you.
got I see a lot of link tree pages and
Yeah.
things like that. But
Yeah.
you have an absolute treasure trove of content. You've got music videos
Yes.
for your tracks.
Yep.
You've got a biography.
Yep.
You're on every platform, all the
Mhm.
social media. So we'll put that link there
Yeah,
for
that'd be great.
everyone to
Thank
listen.
you.
So I listened to it the other night in the
Oh, did
car.
you?
Yes, I was actually blown away. I thought it was
Oh,
really good.
thanks, Tim.
Yeah, it
Thank you.
was. I mean,
Thank you.
the music really did lift me as well. So, I
Thank
mean,
you.
that was your latest release. I think came out back in February. Is that right?
That was Here I Come.
Yeah,
So that's the one where I'm like on the chains and
that's
stuff.
it. Yeah,
Because you're pulling on the chains, you know.
yeah.
That's kind of the lyric where the lyric came from that. And yeah, so that was I actually wrote that at the end of lockdown because I was getting really like agitated and oh, I want to do this, but I'm in lockdown and I can't. And it was that moment where we had just said as a band that we weren't going to continue as a trio.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. So I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I tried to get all my resources, and it kind of just came from that, like, here I come, me on my own. And, I'm going to try and do this as best as I can. And hopefully people can relate to that. And yeah, just kind of get on board with what I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
through music. Um, so yeah, that's all I really hope for.
So how does that creative process come about then? So do you write the lyrics and then you work with someone on the music side of things, or do you
um,
do the whole thing?
the songs that I've released so far, the 3 songs that I've released, I've written all myself, like melody line, lyrics, structure, and then when I go into a studio, that's when we start to like get the drums and the produce and the product kind of starts to come alive.
Yeah.
So yeah, so A Million Lies was my first release, and that just kind of came about spare of the moment. But I always try and brush up the lyrics before I get into the studio, just if there's anything not quite sure on that I want it to be like, you know, as close as it can be before you get into the studio, because yeah, you don't want to be kind of wasting time on the lyrics. So
Yeah. So do you work with
you
the
know.
same team every time then in terms of producing and studio?
Do you know my 2 first singles that I released as a solo artist? I had my very good friend Charlie Stinchcombe, so shout out to Charlie. He actually lives around here, so bless him.
Charlie.
Hello Charlie. Bless his heart. He really helped me through COVID and lockdown. He's got a home studio in his room,
Oh
and he
wow.
just kind of like fixed all the drums and the guitars. He's a very, very, very good guitarist.
Yeah.
He plays electric guitar, and I love that. So, so he bless him, he really, really helped me with that, and I thank you for that because that's kind of started and launched, you know, in between COVID and everything. It launched that kind of side, my sound for me as a solo artist rather than a trio.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really lovely, and I really appreciate what Charlie did for me. So thank you. If you watch this,
Oh, hopefully you will.
yes, I'll
And,
get him to watch it.
and Charlie did a good job on the sound. It really does. And I'm
Yeah,
it,
thank
it really
you.
does. All of it
Yeah,
sounds super clear,
thank you very
really punchy.
much.
I loved
Thank
it.
you.
It's
Even though it was done electronically, I absolutely love what Charlie did with it. I sent him the song, the structure, the melody, the lyrics, everything I did in my bedroom actually, and then he just kind of fixed all the rest. But the most recent, sorry, single that I got out in February, I actually went into a studio with my good friend Paul West. So shout out to Paul West. He's got a lovely studio up in London, and he said, "Yeah, come up." And that was when we were able to actually see people and like get back into the studio.
oh
And
yeah, that
oh, it was so amazing getting back into the studio. You know, because I hadn't been in one for a while, and it was lovely to just kind of get Abi sound. You know. So yeah, that was Here I Come was kind of the launch of my sound that I wanted to get. So thank you, Paul. And yeah, and if you want to listen, that's also on Spotify.
is it only because I think I heard it on Apple Music, so it's on every. Is it on
Yeah,
Spotify, Apple Music?
Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music,
Yeah,
Deezer. I mean, I don't personally use Deezer, but that's on there as well.
yeah.
YouTube Music. Yeah, everywhere.
So a curiosity then, what on which platform does it do better? Do you know, or is it?
Surprisingly, so if you don't know, you get Spotify for artists, and Spotify is the best one.
Yeah,
Just because I think it's very, very approachable. Spotify, it's very easy to use, and I think it doesn't. It's not just Apple or Samsung. It's very universal that
universal.
way.
Yeah,
Swings both ways.
yeah.
So yeah, that's I would say Spotify. Yeah, interestingly enough, it's Spotify.
Because you're in this interesting world now, aren't you, where
Yeah,
everyone can make content. They don't
yeah,
need big record companies or
mm-mm,
TV companies or video production companies. Everyone can do
absolutely.
it themselves now with
Yes.
tools at home, like you said. You know, a lot of
Mm,
your sound came from the bedroom and home studios elsewhere, and
yeah,
we can send stuff electronically. You know, you'd have to be in person. It's
yeah.
really cool, isn't it?
It
Really.
is actually really, really beneficial. Like, as kind of as long as you know what you're doing, it's actually really, really clever. I personally feel like going into a studio and kind of creating and having that space is so much more rewarding for what you get in return.
Yeah,
And also you get to connect with lots of people. And it is scary with like AI coming about and things like that. But I think we've got a long way before that, I suppose. So we'll try and hold on to to that one, I
this is a
suppose.
reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
I spoke to somebody else in Folkestone this week, a director, and same concerns
Amazing.
in that area
Oh
about AI.
yeah.
Well, we're in the middle of actor
Yeah.
strikes and artists
It's
striking on that for
scary.
that very thing,
Very
aren't we?
scary.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So how did
Yeah.
the gig at Eurotunnel come about then? That's see one minute you're checking passports.
1 minute I'm
So
singing.
you'll be a very familiar face to people going through Folkestone.
Oh, I don't know about that one, but yeah, no. My friend was singing on the stage one day, and I just went up to her and I said, "Oh my God, hi! Like, who do I get in contact with?" And she very kindly gave me the contacts for the offices, which I should have already had because I was there for a long time, but I just didn't really click. I just didn't really seize the moment, I suppose, before. And Georgie, my friend Georgie, she very kindly just said, "This is who you need to contact," and that was it. And yeah, that's kind of, I've only been doing it for about well, just under a year, now.
So what times of the day do you perform, or
Um,
is it key points when tourism's quite high going through the
yeah,
terminal?
so if they've got figures or anything like that, that they know that they're going to have like busy periods or anything like that, then they try and get us to fit around that schedule. Most mornings is kind of busy anyway, so I'd say our earliest that we start is either 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So
Well, that is an early gig for a voice to wake up that early and do
yeah,
that. Wow, that's really good.
yeah, it's quite amazing, really. But I get up for 6 o'clock to do passports as well, so I kind of just think it's the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of reception do you get? Have you had any great comments from anyone famous coming through, or
Do you
just
know,
general public comments? You know that.
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I haven't met anyone famous yet. Um, but a few people have said, which I think is very, very lovely, is that they've said that I sound like a CD player, which I don't know what to
Interesting.
take for that.
That's an interesting
They say
comment.
it sounds like I'm on the stereo, which is really, really lovely. But yeah, again, I don't know what to kind of feel about that.
Yeah.
Good or bad, I don't know. So yeah, that's what they say.
And then I guess you had a couple of good gigs with BBC Introducing as well,
Yeah, oh my gosh,
locally.
that was amazing. So Abby McCarthy, who's BBC introducing for BBC Radio Kent with Dominic King. Um, and she said she'd love to use Here I Come, my latest release, um, as the BBC introducing track of the week for International Women's Day.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
When I got that message, I was actually sitting on my bed, just kind of being a bit grumpy that day. So it kind of really made my day. So thanks, Abby, and thank you, Dom, for giving that a spin for the whole week. That was it. Yeah, it really, really made my day when I got that message.
And that's led on to you've done some performances in some. I saw the Cavern Club on the.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah. So
that's a good one,
yeah,
isn't it?
that was an amazing trip slash performance. That was just really fun. I got into contact with the British Country Music Awards Association, sorry, and yeah, so BCMA were looking for acts to play at the Cavern Club. And I was like, "Oh, absolutely. Can you please have me on the bill? Because that's somewhere I've always wanted to play." And my brother as well. So picked up Matt, picked up Dad, and off we went. And 5 hour journey
That's a
later,
long drive, isn't it, to Liverpool?
yeah, it was
Yes.
a half an hour set. And we just played it out to our heart's content and just loved it and just enjoyed it for what it was. But what we didn't know when we first applied for it, that Ashley Campbell, who's Glenn Campbell's
Yeah.
daughter, was on the bill. So
Oh,
I played just after Ashley Campbell, and that was very hard
yeah.
to live up to. Like, going on after Ashley Campbell, you're thinking, "Oh my goodness, not going to live up to that one."
No.
But she is very lovely. She's really good. And it was just all around an amazing experience, and with a few surprises thrown in, just like that. So yeah, that was a really, really cool experience. Yeah.
So you've done quite a few shows. So how much touring or performing do you do in a year in different venues,
Um,
would you say?
Gosh, because obviously before COVID, I was with my band, and we did loads, like all over. Like we did Gibraltar, we did Scotland, we did Nashville, we did loads of
Yeah.
other places. Yeah, and that was an amazing experience, and touring and the journey itself was just incredible.
I bet.
And to do it with your family was
Yeah.
was amazing.
Nashville. I mean,
Yeah,
Nashville is,
it was the place we were like, we got to go there.
yeah,
We've got to do it. And as soon as we turned, do you remember when I said that we turned into country music, country rock? As soon as we decided that's the route that we wanted to take instead of folk pop, we were all about the boots, and we just changed all of our image, and we were just wanting to go to Nashville, and that was it. Matt got a Stetson,
I
which
love
was
it.
lovely. Me and Lou got some boots, and yeah, it was it was just good fun. Yeah.
So what's next then? So you've presumably got other songs waiting
I do. I
to
have
be
quite a
created?
lot of Abi stuff that
Yeah,
I've kept. Kind of what I was going to do is bring it to the table to Lou and Matt, but obviously we're not doing that anymore. But that's okay. Never say never.
yeah.
And so I'm joining forces with Matt, my brother, and we're going to like go through all the songs as much as we can, just kind of because when I wrote them, I was very young, so they can sound a little bit like the lyrics probably need to be, um, tweaked a little bit.
Don't think of that, do you?
Yeah, you just
That's
don't.
yes.
Like there's things that I'm thinking, oh no, I sound like I'm 16. Because I kept them, I didn't want to like show them to the band because I felt a bit embarrassed because I was the youngest. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Well,
oh
you're
no,
pouring your heart into these things as well, aren't you? So
and I was just like, oh, I don't know if they're going to like it. So I kind of kept them hidden. And, actually, in our journey of a band, I ended up writing about 30 to 40 songs. So I've just got a lot of work to do now,
yes.
is to clean them up, make sure they're ready to go. And hopefully soon my journey would be an album. So
Yeah.
that would be the big thing that I would love to do.
And of course, like I was saying earlier about any content creators now, you're also doing your own social media, the advertising space
Yes, my
kind of
goodness, there's
world. So that
so
must be
much.
a
Yeah,
challenge.
there's so much you have to think about, like stories, like when the right time to post is. Like Facebook actually tells you what is the great time that your followers or your subscribers are
That's good.
on, and it will tell you if you don't know, it will tell you when it's the right time when people are online. And so learning all about that is just insane because I didn't think about that with the band. We didn't think about it like that. We just kind of wanted to announce things and see where it got to, which really you should just do anyway. But yeah, no, it's very, very in depth now.
And you have to be on it, don't you? I mean, well, I've mentioned it again in another recording where you've got platforms changing like Twitter. You've
Yeah,
had new things arriving like Threads.
my
I
goodness,
mean,
yeah,
it's really changed in the last couple of
yeah.
weeks, hasn't it?
To
It's
keep up with, that sort of side of social media is quite difficult, especially when you're just getting used to one thing,
yeah.
and you're like, okay, well, Instagram is doing really well, or Twitter, and then it all changes. So you're like, oh, where, where do I go from here? So yeah, it's just hard to keep on top, but we'll get there.
So what's in the future then? Are you still going to be checking I mean, you must love that. Do you want to still check passports, or is
Yes,
that one day is that going to be sunsetted? And
I think I would miss it if I
yeah,
didn't do it because I've been there for so long and I've made so many cool friends, and like my colleagues are just all supportive. Like honestly, all of them are just so amazing, and they're so supportive, and yeah, they just kind of, it's like as I said, it's like a second home. So I'd feel a bit lost without it. One day I would love to be touring and doing all the big stuff, and but yeah, I guess I'm just at home there for now, and then we'll see what happens, and maybe I'll branch away and spread my wings and fly.
so when do you hope we can hear some more new tracks from you then?
Probably in the couple of months, maybe to the early next year.
Yeah.
um it's just a lot to like to sort of like take in when you're writing a song, and also it's very kind of can get quite expensive, so we just got to push on, and yeah, so I would say in the next kind of like couple of months, maybe into the new year, I am really looking forward to getting in the studio next month, because I would love to get an autumn song out, um, that I wrote when I was 21. So yeah, that would be amazing to get that one out at this side of the year. But if it's not going to happen, then I'm all for releasing it in the new year.
Yeah.
I usually release songs about March, February time, because the internet says it's a good time to do it. So we'll
I
see.
just love this whole new way of working. I really do. You would have had someone in the record company dictating that before. Now
Absolutely.
it's
Well,
social media platforms and real data. It's really cool, isn't it?
it is really, really cool because it does mean that, you know, you can open up the world to a lot more artists that maybe never would have got a chance.
Yeah.
And I do love that. I think everyone should have an opportunity. You know, why is it only that, you know, people's friends of friends in the companies get a chance? You know, what about people who have really, really worked hard for years and years? And it's really lovely to see, like, some of my friends, my musician friends, like, you know, all these people actually finally getting a chance to do what they love to do. So, and yeah, it's really great. It's making me closer and closer to what I want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's lovely. It's really lovely to see. Yeah.
Well, so I think I'd like to catch up again
I'd love
once
to,
you've got
Tim.
our new music.
Yes, that'd
So,
be amazing.
but for now, thank you, Abby.
Thank you,
What a
Tim.
fantastic
Yeah.
conversation. And you take care.
Yeah, take care, Tim.
Many thanks.